The president's condemnation is made as outrage flares over New York's law. As Emily Drewby reported, a man who allegedly stabbed his former pregnant girlfriend to death is no longer facing abortion charges. The criminal case wiped away because of this new law. Communications Director for the New York State Catholic Conference, Dennis Poust, joins us from Albany. Dennis, thank you so much for being here with me. You weren't surprised by this development at all. In fact, you predicted it. What other dangers are in this Reproductive Health Act?
Well, yeah, you're right, Liz. We did predict this one, and we informed legislators, not just in our bill memos, but in actual correspondence that we wrote to them, begging them, even if they were going to pass this bill, to fix that provision, to allow people to be charged with criminally removing a woman's choice to keep her baby, which is now wiped off the books. But there are other dangers in this legislation as well, which is supposedly just to codify Roe v. Wade, but it goes way beyond it. It allows non-physicians to do abortions. It allows abortions really for any reason up until the time of birth. A doctor could say health of the mother, but that's been interpreted to mean economic health, mental health, social health, psychological health. So it's really abortion until birth, and it removes very needed protections for pregnant women.
Dennis, with the understanding that you cannot read anyone's mind, but you do have an understanding of law and procedure, why would legislators decide the killing of a child in the womb was not a crime?
I think that this was a situation of a bill that was written not by mainstream legislators or mainstream New Yorkers, but it was a bill drafted by abortion radicals. And unfortunately, when you let a radical fringe on either the left or the right control the legislative process, you end up with bad legislation. And that's what happened here. The idea, I think, is that they are so unwilling to recognize even a hint of personhood of the unborn child, of a fetus, that instead they would sooner see no crime for the death of that unborn baby than to even remotely hint that there might be some personhood rights there. But you don't even need personhood rights to have a crime that says if you kill a wanted child that's illegal. We had that in New York for all these years, and now unfortunately it's been wiped off the books.
Actually, you can probably clarify that even more with this next question, referring back to Emily's package. We have a situation here where this man is being charged with the death of a mother, but not the child. Now we have this law that takes away restrictions on abortion. So ultimately, I'm asking you, Dan, what's the difference? Why does having an abortion charge in this case matter?
It matters because it acknowledges that two crimes were committed, the crime against the mother and the crime against the unborn child. And it's not a perfect example because, yes, they'll be able to charge second-degree murder, which is a very serious crime in this state, for the unfortunate and tragic death of this woman. But sometimes a woman is simply assaulted, maybe punched in the stomach. There have been times when women have been slipped abortion drugs in their drinks to cause an abortion. And so the woman is otherwise unharmed, but her baby is lost. In those cases, and they have happened, the prosecutors now could only charge for assault, sometimes just misdemeanor assault on the woman, with no charge of abortion for the wanted child. And so the ability to send someone to prison for taking away that woman's choice to bear her child is now removed in New York state law.
Dennis, we just heard from President Trump talking about banning late-term abortions. I want us to listen to something else that he said.
The Democrat Party has never been more outside of the mainstream.
A new poll supports what the president's assertion is. 79% of all Americans reject abortions in the last 3 months of pregnancy. Even pro-choice respondents, around 66% of them, say they're against third trimester abortions. And then there are 69% of young people between the ages of 18 to 34 also turning their thumbs down on late-term abortions. What do you make of this, Dennis?
Well, I would maybe clarify a little of what the president said to say more to your point, Liz. I don't know. It's not so much Democrats as much as sometimes the leadership in the party and who they listen to. And yes, it's tragic that unfortunately in New York and elsewhere they're listening to the radical fringe of their party, and they're not listening to the everyday blue collar and workers and moms and dads who are Democrats and are repulsed by late term abortion. Almost all New Yorkers and Americans are repulsed by third trimester abortion and want them to be extraordinarily rare and regulated.
Dennis, as always, your perspective is welcome and appreciated. Thank you so much for joining me. Great talking with you.
Anytime, Liz. It's always a pleasure.